Okay, so today we'll take the last part of the design of brakes. So in the last class we have taken the simple band brake. Now we'll take the second type of the band brake. So that is a differential band brake. So how you define a differential band brake? So if both ends of the band are connected to the lever, then it is called as what? The differential band brake. So you have to understand the difference between simple band brake and differential band brake. In simple band brake, one end of the band is connected to the fulcrum O. Okay, but in differential band brake, both ends of the band are connected to what? The lever is called as a differential band brake. So now you see the sketch of what is shown is an example for a differential band brake. So what we have here, so A is what? The distance of between the force F applied to the fulcrum O. Then we have two more dimensions here. One is a B1, so that is what? The distance between the fulcrum to the right side of the band, and B2 is what? The distance between fulcrum to the left side of the band. Okay, so you have to understand like that. So B1 is what? Distance of fulcrum to the right side of the band which connect to the lever. B2 is a distance of fulcrum to the left side of the band connected to the lever. Okay, so maybe the drum is rotating clockwise direction or it is more rotating anti-clockwise direction. So based on that, again T1 and T2 positions, as you know, the T1 T2 positions will change depending upon the direction of the drum, clockwise or anti-clockwise. So now we'll take one or two problems how to design a differential band brake. So take this example. What it says, a differential band brake has an operating lever 225 mm long. So the total length of operating lever is 225, that is A equal to 225 mm long. The ends of the brake band are at a distance of, so their operating arms are 38 mm and 127 mm. So we'll take B1 is greater than B2. So B1 is a 127 mm and B2 is a 38 mm. If you not mentioned, so you can take B1 greater than B2. So B1 127, B2 38 mm. Brake drum diameter 600 mm. So that is a D equal to capital D equal to 600 mm, and arc of contact is 300 degree. So arc of contact is the angle of contact theta equal to 300 degree. So we can make it reduce by multiplying 300 degree into pi by 180, and mu equal to 0.22. Okay, then the band is 3.2 mm and 100 mm. He has given the dimensions of the band 3.2 mm into 100 mm. So what are the parameters he asking? Find the least force required at the end of the operating lever when band is subject to a stress of 55 Newton per mm square. So I am asking you the least braking force for both clockwise and anti-clockwise rotation of the drum. Then what is the torque required applied to the brake drum shaft? And the last is brake is self-locking. We have to do for both clockwise direction as well as anti-clockwise direction. So now here, so for take a clockwise direction in the figure A, so we have to decide where T1 and V2, where T2 lies. Okay, so when the drum rotates clockwise, so at the left side the band is pulled in, that's why, so that will be treated as a T1, and it is going to release at the right side so of the band, so that is called as a T2. Okay, also you see the direction here, so you should take those acting at a upward direction of the tensions T1 T2 are very important in the differential band brake, because we're going to calculate the braking force F, we have to take the moment about O. Okay, so that's why these two directions you have to very carefully observe here. T1 T2 acting upward and F will be acting downward. Okay, so now we'll go to the solution. So we can find out the tension, because we need T1 T2 to calculate the braking force. We need to first determine what is the value of T1 and what is the value of T2. Okay, so The value of T1 can be calculated by using equation 19.161. So already we have used this in the previous problem. So what is that? T1 equal to sigma d, that is of the stress of the band, W into H, width and thickness or depth. So we know width and thickness and the allowable stress for the band. Substituting that 55 into 100 into 3.2, you got 17,600 Newton as a T1. So using the tension ratio, T1 by T2 equal to e raised to mu theta. So already we know T1 and we can find T2, that is what, 5562.1 Newton. Then so first case, consider the clockwise direction. So as I told, to calculate the braking force, T1, T2 should be known, and we have to take the bending moment about O to calculate the braking force. Okay, so before to calculate that, we should know which are making clockwise moment and which are making a anti-clockwise moment. So now just look again, go to the figure. So you can see there. So if you take the bending moment about O, so what you can observe, so T1 is acting upward, so it will make a clockwise moment. T2 is acting upward about O, it is making a anti-clockwise, it will rotate about O anti-clockwise, and the force F is making a acting downward, sorry, upward, so it will make also an anti-clockwise moment. So we'll make anti-clockwise one side and clockwise other side. Okay, now you see here how to write this one. So F and T2 will come one side, so T1 will become other side. So writing the same equation, so what you can write here, F into A, so force into distance A plus T1 into B2. So T1 acting upward, F also making clockwise, sorry, F is acting downward. In the figure is showing upward, but actually the braking force will be acting downward. Okay, so that makes correction. So F is acting downward, so F into A plus T1 into B2, force into distance. Okay, moment is what? Force into perpendicular distance, T1 into B2, that's equal to T2 into B1. So one side clockwise moment, other side anti-clockwise moment. So you can give as equation number 1. Okay, so later we're going to use this equation to calculate the self braking. Okay, substitute values, you got for clockwise rotation F equal to 167.1 Newton. Okay, similarly next go for the counterclockwise rotation braking force. Again go to the sketch here. So when it is rotating counterclockwise, the position of T1 and T2 interchanged. So the right hand side becomes a T1 and left side portion becomes a T1 T2. Okay, so F is acting downward only. Downward only. So now you see which are making clockwise and anti-clockwise. So T1 rotating about O, so it will make a anti-clockwise. F makes a clockwise and T2 makes a again clockwise. So T2 and F makes a clockwise, T1 makes a anti-clockwise. So see T1 into B1 and T2 into B2 and F into A. So force into distance. Now similarly we write the equation here. So what is that? For counterclockwise, F into A plus T2 into B2 equals to T1 into B1. Okay, substituting values, you got F equal to 167 point, F equal to 8994.8 Newton. Okay, so we have to select the least braking force. Out of these, for clockwise you got 167, for counterclockwise you got 8994.8. So out of these, the least is 167 Newton. Okay, that is selected. Now the braking torque is given by the equation mt equal to into bracket T1 minus T2 into R. So you know T1 and T2 R value, substitute that, you got a torque as a 3611.37 Newton meter or 3611370 Newton mm. So case 3, we have to calculate the self-locking. So we have to do for both clockwise as well as a anti-clockwise direction. So take the case 1 of a clockwise direction. As I told you, write it as equation 1. For clockwise, what is the braking equation? F into A plus T1B2 equal to T2B1. So modify this equation. We can write T2B1 minus T1B2 divided by A. Okay. So for self-locking, in the numerator, what we have a T2B1 minus T1B2. So what should be the condition? If T2B1 less than equal to T1B2. So if T2B1 becomes lesser than T1B2, so it becomes a negative value. So when it becomes negative or 0, then there is a self-locking. That's why T2B1 should be less than equal to T1B2, then only there is a self-locking. So again rewrite that B1 B2 less than equal to T1 T2. So you know values of B1 B2, substitute all 127 by 38 less than equal to 3.16. So what you found here, 3.34 less than equal to 3.16, but actually 3.34 is not less than equal to 3.16. We can say that for clockwise rotation there is no self-locking. Similarly, go for counterclockwise rotation. Again take equation of the bending moment what you taken, F into A plus T2B2 equal to T1B1. So modify this. Again what you write, F equal to T1B1 minus T2B2 by A. Again for self-locking, T1B1 should be less than equal to T2B2. Then only if T1B1 is less than T2B2, then the value is negative, then there is a self-locking. But sorry, T1B1 less than equal to T2B2. So modify this, T1 by T2 less than equal to B2 by B1. Substitute the values. So what you got here, 3.16 less than equal to 38 by 127, that is a 0.299, but actually 3.16 is not less than 0.299. Then we can say even for a counterclockwise direction there is no self-locking. So this way you have to calculate a differential band brake problem. Okay, so what you need to understand here, first we have to able to identify the direction of T1 T2. F is always acting downward. Okay, so what will be the direction of F1 F2, what will be the direction of T1 T2 and as well as F. Then you should take the moment to calculate the braking force. Then you have to calculate the torque. Then if there is self-locking, you can calculate the case for self-locking. So now we'll go for next problem. So just to go one more problem here. So differential band brake as shown in figure 6.42, the width and thickness of the steel band is 100 mm and 3 mm. He is given the dimensions, width and thickness respectively, and maximum tensile stress in the band is 50 Newton per mm square. The coefficient of friction between the friction lining and the brake drum is 0.25. Mu is given. Calculate tensions in the band. So we are asking T1 and T2 and actuating force F and the torque capacity of the brake MT. Check whether the brake is a self-locking. So we have to calculate 4 parameter: tensions, actuating force, torque, and calculating the self-locking. Okay, so we'll go for a figure 6.42. So what is the self 6.42? You can see here diameter is given as a 600 mm, angle of contact 240, and B1 length 200. B1 length is 200 mm, B2 is 50, and the value of A is see the value of A, it is a distance between the fulcrum to the force of F applied. So 200 plus 750, how much it is? 950 mm. Okay, so for this we have to calculate the tensions T1, T2, the torque, as well as the self-locking. And you can see here already in the given in the sketch, the drum is rotating clockwise rotation. Okay, So using the equation 19.161, so first we'll go for a determination of tensions. Width of the band W equal to T1 by H1 sigma D. So substitute that because he has given the dimensions of the band. So W and H, sigma D already given allowable stress. T1 you got a 15,000 Newton. Okay. Similarly, using the ratio of tensions T1 by T2 equal to e raised to mu theta, we can find T2 5263.8 Newton. So T1, T2, so this way we have found. Next we will go for the actuating force for a clockwise direction, because he is not asking for counterclockwise. So only given in the sketch as only clockwise, we will calculate only for clockwise. Again, we take the moment about O here. Okay, but before that you need to understand where T1 and T2. So since it is rotating clockwise, T1 is at the left side portion, T2 is at the right side portion, right side of the band, and T1, T2 act direction will be upward, F is always acting downward. So T1 makes about O clockwise moment, T2 makes anti-clockwise moment, F makes a clockwise moment. So clockwise moment one side, which is F, and T1 makes a T2 counterclockwise at other side. So what I can write here, P or F into A plus T1 B2 equal to T2 B1, force into distance. So then substituting values, so what you got here, F equal to T2 B1 minus T1 B2 by A. So what you got, actuating force P equal to 318.69 Newton. Then the third parameter, the torque. So torque is given by T1 minus T2 into R. So we know the values, substitute that, you got 2920.860 Newton mm for the torque. So now go for a checking for a self-locking. Okay, so for a clockwise direction, the equation is what already used, P equal to T2 B1 minus T1 B2 by A. So as you know, T2 B1 should be less than equal to T1 B2, then only there will be self-locking. So that's why you can write B1 by B2 equal to T1 by T2. So 200 by 50 less than equal to 2.85. So what you got here, 4 less than equal to 2.85, but actually 4 is not less than equal to 2.85. Then you can say that there is no self-locking occurs when the drum rotates a clockwise direction. So this way you should able to calculate the differential band brake equations. So just go through these two problems. If you have any doubts, just make a call. So understand and try to solve this problem. Okay, thank you.